Hey everybody, this is Ben. I'm here. I decided to try to build my own gold sluice. I saw one, I forget the guy's name, but he had built something like this, but he never did a test video to show if it worked. So I drew it out schematically, and I don't think it would work because the way he had it set up, the main chamber would not completely fill up with water. It would only halfway fill with water, which would kind of defeat the point of the nature of the sluice. Or I don't know if you call it a sluice, but a gold recovery system. So what I've done is I've built something similar to that, but I increased the levels of the piping going into the main chamber. That way the water level should theoretically increase in the chamber to fill it up as we pump water through it. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you real quickly how I put it together. I don't have any of the parts cemented or anything yet, but I just want to show you as I assemble it. The assembly takes not even 2 minutes. Of course, it took me a while to figure out which piping I needed, and of course I bought stuff I didn't need as a mistake. I'm probably going to just hang on to it, just use it around the house. I want to say some of this PVC stuff is pretty expensive. If you had longer piping and were able to cut it up, that would cut your cost for sure. Probably spent about 85 bucks on this stuff putting it together. Again, if you're able to order it online or in bulk or something like that, I'm sure you could get it much cheaper. So let me go ahead and show you what I put together, and hopefully we'll do a test video that will yield results for us. Okay. So the first thing we do is we have a 4-inch piece of pipe. Unfortunately, the 10-foot pipe that I bought didn't fit the couplers, so I had to go and buy this tiny little piece of pipe which cost the same amount of money. So that was kind of aggravating, but it fits and it works, and I'm at the point where I just want to get it to work. What I've done, and I'll show you here, is I bought a doormat. It was about 12 or 13 bucks. I'm sure you can find them cheaper. This was at Home Depot. That's just what it cost. And I measured the circumference of the pipe, which I calculated at the half of the circumference of the pipe was 6.28 inches. So I cut a 6-inch wide piece of matting here. As you can see, it's ridged. It's not on the carpet. It's got multiple ridges, large ridges, big ridges, small ridges. And I like that scheme. I think it would be good for catching gold. It is office carpet. We'll just have to see if it works. If not, I'll put my V-mat in there and see how that works. But it's definitely something I think would catch gold material. So I fold this up and I stick it in the pipe, and try to keep it at equal parts here. I left the rubber matting on the end of it in an attempt to help it to stick in there a little bit better, because I don't want to glue it down or anything, because I need to be able to take it out to rinse it out. So starting with this piping, what I've done is I bought some couplers, some 4-inch down to 2-inch couplers, and I'm going to put one on each end of the main chamber. I also bought some 2-inch piping so that I could cut little connectors like this to connect my parts. I don't think that was terribly expensive, but I've cut these into little 3-inch increments, and they're going to be used at multiple sites along the assembly. So this one has one because this one's exiting to the, well, let me show you. We're going to have this 90-degree elbow here, short elbow with another connector in it, as you can see, and we're going to connect that one. Let's make sure. Okay, so this is the bottom, so I need to make sure that this one's pointing up. From here, take another 90-degree elbow, but this is a long sweeping elbow, 2-inch, and connect it to this pipe. What this does is it gives us extra height on the input area, and we want that because the output area is going to be a little bit lower, and we want that so that not only will it help fill the chamber, but it won't backwash, and it'll keep the water moving in a forward motion. So from there we add another connector like that. Again, these aren't glued, so make sure I get this right again. So this is going to come apart until I do that. Alright, and so now we have this short elbow and long elbow, both 90 degrees, and it gives us extra height on the input arm. From here I've added a 2-inch T. I chose to use, a Y. I chose to use the one that that comes in from the top, because I'm going to add a funnel-like apparatus in order to dump in the pay dirt through here. I've also bought a plug, 2-inch down to 1-inch. I'm sorry, 2-inch, yeah, down to 1-inch plug. That's going to go in the back end of this, and this is where the nozzle apparatus is going to be installed to input the water hose. And I've got that right here. Adapter's stuck on it. There we go. Getting the adapter was where I wasted a lot of money getting one to fit. So now I've got a 1-inch down to 3/4 threaded piece of PVC that I'm going to stick in this hole. And there we go. We're going to glue all this together obviously when we get it set. We'll leave one joint unglued so that we can open the main chamber. It's going to be the input joint, this one right here, because we'll need to pull that off to get the carpet out. So we have our Y here again. I bought this threaded adapter, which took me a little while to find, but this fits in here really nicely, and it's got a female coupling, so you can use it with a garden hose, and that was my ultimate idea. Now this little adapter, this is unnecessary, okay? This was something I bought though, and I spent the money, and I can't really return it now, so I'm just going to add it because it'll be convenient to snap on to the garden hose. And that snaps into this adapter right here. And so now we've got the input point at which the hose will go in. It will couple with this device, which again this is unnecessary part. I could just screw the hose right onto it. The reason I did this is so I don't want to have to take the garden hose and keep unscrewing it and screwing. I'm afraid it's going to wear out the threads, and so this one I can just snap it on, snap it off. I don't have to worry about it. So this coupler is going to go right here, and this will screw into the garden hose. So from here, this is where I've added a so-called funnel. So I take another connector and I put it into the top of the Y, like so. And then I've got a 4-inch down to 2-inch coupler, and I'm going to pop it on top of there. So what we'll do is we'll fill up the chamber with water, we'll cut off the water, dump our pay dirt into the funnel, and then close it off. I've also bought a seal. I don't know how necessary this was. I probably could have got a plug for cheaper, but it was pretty cool. So I've got this little rubber test seal, and it fits in the hole. It's a 2-inch hole, and this will keep the water in once we start moving the water. Now, as you can see, it fits right in that hole. And then once want to add more pay dirt, we unscrew it, dump it in there, put it on, and then flush the pay dirt out. So this is my apparatus for the input, and I think it's pretty cool. So from here, gosh, I wish these would just stay together temporarily. All right, stick in there. Okay, so from here we have the input point going into the main chamber, and what we're going to do is we're going to connect the input, I don't know what you call it, the main input onto this. And so now our input level is looking like this, okay? We've got a funnel apparatus with a plug in it connected to a 2-inch Y that goes in vertically. We've got a plug in the back that is attached with a thread nozzle, and we can attach that to a garden hose. The Y connects into this sweeping long 2-inch 90-degree elbow with another connector, and then it goes into a short sweeping 90-degree into another connector, and that goes into the main chamber. So right now I've got this bazooka looking device. Oh, this is upside down. Turn this. There we go. Okay, I just dropped something. Alright, so this is what we're looking at. Doggone it. Alright. So far we have this right here. And we'll have to support it on a chair or a table or something. But you notice how much higher this is than the main chamber. The reason for that is the device that I saw on YouTube, it was all pretty well equal. It was coming out right here. And what that does is it doesn't, because this water level is going to be higher than the chamber, it will have to equal out, and the other one, the output's also going to be higher, but it won't be as high as the input. It's going to force the chamber to actually fill with water to cause the turbulence to drop the gold out. Now, the theory behind this is we have high pressure coming in the 2-inch pipe, coming down, and when it gets into the reducer coupling, it is going to enter a chamber that is 2 inches wider, which by Bernoulli's law, I mean, it's considerably more area. And so it's going to drop the pressure of the water in this chamber. There's going to be a pressure drop. That pressure drop is going to allow the gold to fall out of solution. There will also be turbulence, which will help it. And then, of course, there's a mat to help catch it. The lighter materials will continue to flush out through the turbulence and come out the other end, where it will once again be high pressure and force it out. And let me show you the exit part. This thing's getting heavy. Alright. So for the exit, we take another coupling. I'm going to use this one. And we plug it into the exit coupling. And then I've got this P trap. That's what it's called. It used to be a J trap is what it's called. This one's called a P trap. I like it because the water will have to make a vertical turn up here before it can come out. And this will also, that vertical turn, if gold does escape the main chamber, it should give the gold another chance to fall back down into the chamber. I may add a magnet here to get magnetic sands, but first I'm going to see if this thing works well without it, and then we'll decide from there. So I take the P-trap here and I connect it to the output. And I'm going to use this one on the end just to help direct the water down into the bucket, which we're going to be using to collect the material to repan and make sure we caught everything. So this is what we're looking at now. That's a pretty cool looking contraption. But we've got this input area with a funnel that's sealed. It's going to force water into these 2-inch pipes, and because as you can see, the input is higher than the output, so the output will definitely be full of water, and that's what we want. We want to increase that pressure to force the black sands and such out. So the input is coming back down. It enters a chamber that is twice the diameter of the piping, which is going to greatly lower the pressure in the chamber. It will also cause some turbulence, and this will, in theory, drop the gold out of solution, at which point the carpeting should be able to grab onto it and hang on to it because of the ridges and just the way that it's designed. The water, see what happens with the one that I saw, because they didn't have this gradient, this chamber would not have filled all the way with water. It would have filled about halfway, which would still be okay, but because of that, it wouldn't be forcing the water out of this chamber, and you wouldn't get the same degree of pressure drop and turbulence that you would need. So I have increased the input and output levels, because if water is seeking its own level, well then, because this is higher and the exit's higher, the level is going to be higher, so it should, in theory, fill up the entire chamber. The pressure to push it out is going to come from the filling of the chamber. Once it's filled, then there should be increased pressure pushing it out, and it's going to go through a reducer, which will again increase the pressure and cause the flow to come out harder, again sucking out the light materials. And because there's a slope going up and out, if there is fine gold or something like that, then this gives it one last chance to fall from gravity before exiting into the bucket that will be at the end. So this is the device I've designed. I want to try it without cementing it, just to see if it works, you know, because once you cement it, it's done. But I may try it like that and see how it works, just with the water flow without any pay dirt or anything. If it looks good, then I may go ahead and cement it and do it again. And I'm going to show you all that stuff. Hopefully this is right, because I did spend some money on it. It would be cool to have this, you know. This would be a great cleanup sluice if it works. So, or even a processor. So I'm going to go ahead and get this together a little bit tighter. I'm going to plug it up to the hose outside, do a few test runs to see what happens. I may go ahead and film that too, and then we'll be back to discuss further topics. So I'll see you soon.